Everybody.
Live.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Life, Love, and Money Show with Summer and
Jen, happy New Year.
So every now and again, we'll be doing these live pop-up chats because we really want to, one, hear from you, but we want to also bring you just a bit of information that might leave you with something to walk away with and apply for your day, for your week, for your month. So today we're going to be talking about, is it time for a change? So what do we mean by this? Well, Jen, do you want to jump into this or would you like me to?
No, you go. I piggyback off.
Okay. So really what we're talking about is it time to re-strategize and take a look at your business plan? And this is so important. We are, beginning the year. You may have already done this in your fourth quarter to really look at what your business plan looks like, what you want to change. So what I mean by this is your business plan is a living document. So you should be looking at it quite frequently because it's got your mission, your vision, your goals, how you do your market research. It's got a bunch of stuff there. And so you really want to take a look at it because, as I said, it's a living document. So have you attained the goals that you originally planned or developed for your business? Are you setting new goals? What are some of the objectives for these goals? What are the timelines for these goals that you want to achieve? Do you have a business plan? Because some people jump into business without even having one. So that's where I should have started is, do you have a business plan? And if you do, have you looked at it since you started your business?
Yeah, that's a great question. I just want to make a shout out to Mike. He said, happy Monday, happy New Year, happy Monday to you, Mike. Thank you for gracing us with your presence. But yeah, going back to what you said, Summer, absolutely. Because if you don't even have a plan to look at, I mean, as you guys might have been noticing, we are starting with a lot of foundational things and fundamentals because a lot of times we get excited about our idea, then we want to jump into it. But then you realize like, wait, what am I supposed to be doing? And this is why we're covering these different things. If you caught some of the things that we went live with last week, we talked about mission statement, we talked about business plan, but we're talking more about that today. And there is a good reason why we're emphasizing this, because a lot of times, we want to jump into things because we're excited and then get the website and all the branding, but you cannot do those things until you do these foundational items first. So this is why we're so adamant about talking about this.
Yeah, thank you so much for that, Jen. We really are helping you lay the groundwork and the structure so for a really solid business. And I think a lot of times we jump in because, like you said, Jen, we are so excited. I think you made a example last week of, it's nice to be the interior designer, right? And to like do all and put the colors together and do this and do the logo and do all that stuff. But the groundwork is knowing your mission, knowing what your vision is, building that foundation, understanding what your values are and how your values align with your business, because everything that you do will stream into that business. It reflects who you are. So today we're talking about, and we're going to redress the issue of, is it time for a change? And so we're asking you to re-strategize by looking at your business plan. It is a living document. If you don't have a business plan, start creating a business plan. We do have, and I will put a pitch out there for us, on our thelifeloveandmoney.com website, we do have a program to help people with their business plan. So your business plan is a living document. Are you still in alignment with your mission and your vision? Have you checked that on your business plan? Have you attained the goals that you originally set out? Is it time to start some new goals or create some new goals? And what does that look like? What are your objectives to reach those goals? What are your timelines? What are your Q1 and Q2 goals? So what are your quarterly goals? Have you set those up? Did you start that in the fourth quarter looking at your year? What does that look like? Have you kept up with the market research in relation to your business? And this is something that's really, really important because it gives you an idea of what's setting you apart from your competitors. It's also giving you idea if your service or what you're offering is needed at this time.
Yeah.
And if people are purchasing that, if they're interested in that, if you're making an impact. So market research is really critical. So Jen, did you want to jump in here?
Yeah, the part that I love about this whole process is taking a look at the financials. I love that part.
Yeah.
Obviously, I mean, I love a lot of all the other parts, but I think when it comes to thinking about what needs to be changed, one of the easiest metrics that we can look at is the money. You know, what does it look like? What does it look like now? And then what did it look like over the last year? This is a perfect time to do this. So I actually have done this. I have a spreadsheet. I look at everything. I break it down by the day, by the month, by the quarter, by the year. And then I'm looking at it like, okay, this is how I either didn't do great, I did awesome, you know, did I double, you know, the income and all those different things. And it's like, unless you track that, you really don't have any measure of what to do. And so you're not going to have it. It's going to be very difficult to understand where to adjust and re-strategize if you're not tracking it. If you're only looking at, okay, I made this much, but well, what we talked about this in, I think was it last Thursday's show? We go live and then I don't remember which show we did it
I
on.
know.
But we also talked about needing to know what's the actual profit. It might have cost you X amount, you know, you might have made X amount, but it cost you X amount to make the whole whatever it is that you're doing. And then you really profited what, like $5 or something like that. I remember going through that process when I was working on a wedding project for a client, and I was like, oh my gosh, by the time I added up my labor and my time, I'm like, I'm making like sweatshop, you know, income here.
Yeah.
It's dumb. By the time you evaluate it, you're like, okay, wait a minute, we need to do this differently. So you have to know your numbers. You need to know how did it look for the last year, and evaluate that so that you can re-strategize. And like Summer said, are you looking at, you know, the market research? You know, is there still a demand, or what is it that you need to change? Is it your pricing for your product or service or whatever you're doing? Is it something that needs to, you know, be raised? Or sometimes you might have to adjust down because what you're offering is might not be competitive or might not make sense or in alignment with what maybe other people are doing. But you have to look at all those different things. So again, if there's no plan and you haven't done these different components, start there and ask us, DM us, send us a message or whatever. We're very easy to reach, and ask us a question if you don't know where to start, or what are some of the things that you can do on your own to get started so that you can start looking at the information so that you know what the next thing to do is in terms of re-strategizing.
Oh, absolutely. And as Jen said, you know, we look at methodology, metric. Jen and I nerd out on research. So we've said this before and we'll say it again and we'll keep saying it. Well, yeah, we are proud to be these kinds of nerds. So you know, and my background as a doctor of psychology, I had to do the research. I had to do the research regarding qualitative, quantitative approaches, understanding demographics. And so when we talk about market research, it's so critical to do that because you want to understand the demographic, what demographic you're trying to target and being really specific. And then also what their need is, if they're purchasing that product or service, how they're going about purchasing that product or service. What is A, B, and C about that product or service? What sets you apart? And these are all questions that you can get answered through that research. And so if you need help with that, or if you have questions for us, please reach out, because Jen and I are here to help you with those Q1s, those quarterly 1 and quarterly 2 goals. We're here to help you with that living document, that business plan, because you don't want it to just sit there. It's like your website. That is also a living, breathing kind of domain, right? And so you want to also always look at that and say, does that reflect who I am? Does my business plan reflect my business and who I am? And is it in alignment with my vision, my mission, my values? And then it's time to look at those inner workings. It is absolutely time. This is a great time. New year, changes amidst, right? I'm not big on New Year's resolutions. You can have change throughout the year, right, Jen?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like, because if you're starting late, why are you going to wait till next January? I mean, it's lame.
That's right.
Change can happen at any time when you're ready to do the work and take action.
Right. Absolutely. And look at your process. Understand what your process is. Jen's process might be a little different than my process. This is why it's so awesome that when you do a program with us, you get two coaches that are in alignment in regards to values, but we also do things a little differently. Our metrics might be a little different. Our methodology might be a little different. So you're getting that interesting feed in and feedback regarding, some of the changes that you could make from two different and unique perspectives. So your process, and my point is, your process is going to be different than our process, but understand what that is. Understand what that looks like. Understand how you apply that process. So there we have it. Those are the changes we are talking about. Is it time for a change? Is it time to look at your business plan?
Absolutely. Yeah. So I just want to say shout out to also Raj on LinkedIn and Bibiana Crawl from Books and Barefoot Films. You're joining us from YouTube Live. So thank you guys for being here. Again, Mike on Facebook. So we're streaming on different platforms, and we just appreciate your support and being here and learning and growing with us along the way. But yeah, one last thing I want to say. Summer made a great example about the website. A lot of times Summer, I know you and I have had this discussion offline, but how often do you create a website and then it's like you just made it and then it's just there and then it's so freaking outdated. Like that's an example where you're like, oh, you update this. Oh my goodness, the picture like, oh, this, and then it's like, well, how do you go back in there to update it if you haven't realigned or reevaluated where you're coming from, what needs to change? So do that groundwork first, because after you do that, like the mission and realign yourself with those core values. Again, if you haven't done it, we have join our Facebook group, High Achieving Women. But again, DM us if you have questions on what to do and in terms of how do you evaluate or determine what are your core values. Because when you do that, everything stems from that. This business plan, this living, breathing document, all these things that we're talking about, everything that you do stems from that. So that, and this is why it's so important, because you want everything to be cohesive across the board. And then it even goes into branding. A lot of times what I see, what happens is when people don't do this part of the work, everything feels disconnected. When you can see somebody's stuff and know it's them without seeing either their face or you see just their colors or just the wording, it's like everything is cohesive. Their branding and their mission and their vision, it's cohesive. You can tell that it's done very well. And I'm telling you, the reason why is because they did this groundwork and they didn't just jump into all the other stuff. So this is why it's super, super important.
And I want to kind of piggyback on this too, because Jen's making a really great point. But I want to say that we are ever evolving as humans, right? And that means that what we do is projected onto everything else that we're doing. So our business, our families, our website, everything, right? And so as we evolve, it's a natural evolution, right? So you want to take a look, what I call a glance back. This is in my book. So I call this a glance back because we are forever evolving and we want to know how we've grown. There it is.
I have it right there, everyone.
It's right up in your face. And let me tell you something. If you wonder, what in the heck is that title about? Well, let me tell you this. Get Real with Strong Language is all about taking the idea and getting the understanding of strong language and posing that up against your values. Why is this so important? And Jen and I talk about this all the time, because understanding your core values is the part of the foundation, one of the most important aspects of the foundation of everything that you do. from living to your business to you name it. And when you're in alignment with your core values, in alignment, it makes life so much easier. And it also tells your consumer what you're about, who you are. And so that book takes you through strategy about who you are. And we use in that book the whole ideology of strong language, because it's something that we all went through, or maybe we said a certain word, or maybe we were told about that word, or we were reprimanded. And how did that make you feel? So we impose that into that strategy just to get an idea of what your values look like today. So check it out, but more importantly, understand what your core values are. If you need strategy to understanding that, and thank you, Bibiana, for that remark, best book, check out this book as well. But Jen and I, we have a lot of strategy here. We're talking about foundational aspects of your business and how to grow that business, because it really does start from ground up. All right, on that note.
Yep. And I just want to make one more comment. Okay, this is not about saying you have to cuss to make your business plan. Okay, don't miss the point. Okay, please do not take that as no. Page 57, which is I was highlighting, is one of the pages where it really is, talking about core values. This is an exercise that we walk our clients through. So, it's literally published. So again, if you have questions, you can go to Amazon and get Summer's book. Or you can go to her page, corewomen.com. Otherwise, DM us, and we're happy to help you and answer any questions.
Absolutely. Thank you, Jen, so much. Thank you, everybody. Mike and Bibiana and Raj and, oh gosh, there's somebody else who jumped on here, and I'm sorry, I would probably, slaughter the pronunciation.
Yeah,
and
I don't know how to say that.
Yeah.
There.
Yeah, and like I said, when we go through and we pop up here for these chats, we are on Facebook, we are on Instagram, we are on LinkedIn, we are on YouTube, we are on Twitter. So, actually not Instagram, sorry. But we do go live every Thursday on Instagram at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, which is also 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And again, that's Instagram on Thursdays at the Life, Love, and Money Show. And with that said, it's time to sign off. If you have any questions for us, please don't feel free to DM us.
Okay. Good night. Have a great day, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Happy New Year.
Thank you.